Well, we're joined now by Jonathan Arnott, the North East UKIP MEP, who is in support of Brexit. Mr. Arnott, you wanted to leave the EU, but that means that you also lose your job. Have you made yourself redundant here?
Yes, I have, and I've always been quite clear about it. I'll put my country above my personal ambitions any time, and it's absolutely the right thing to do for the UK to leave the European Union, for us to get back the membership fee that we're currently sending across to them, to get back control over our own laws, and of course to make sure that we now have the chance to control our immigration and to get the opportunity to negotiate our own trade deals. So there's a lot of positives here.
And what role will MEPs like yourself and Paul Brannan play in that over the next 2 years?
Well, the European Parliament ultimately has to approve the final deal that's achieved between the UK and the European Union. But of course, a lot more than that is about putting on the right kind of political pressure. My role in the European Parliament as a member of the Budget Committee is to look at the EU budget, and already we see that the European Union is trying to claim that the UK should be paying money to them after Brexit for EU-funded projects, and of course that's something that I'll need to be standing up against very strongly.
In a letter to Donald Tusk, Theresa May has said that the UK is leaving the European Union. It's not leaving Europe. It wants to remain committed partners and allies to what she says are our friends across the continent. Is that not like saying you're dumped, we no longer want to be boyfriend, girlfriend, but we can still be friends? Can that really work? Did the rest of Europe still want to be friends with the UK, do you think?
Well, of course. I mean, it's in the European Union's DNA, isn't it? It's what they write in their treaties. Article 8 of the Lisbon Treaty, for example, talking about moving with a spirit of neighbourliness and cooperation. So, of course, I think we can be good friends, good neighbours with the rest of Europe. But actually, with your relationship analogy, I think sometimes people can be in a relationship that just doesn't work because the two of you want very different things. But if you end that relationship and end what's causing all of the tension, then of course you can be much better friends moving forward. OK,
and very finally, we've heard from people, EU nationals living in the North East today. They're worried, they're concerned, they don't know what the UK is going to look like for their children. What's your message for people who are anxious and fearful?
Well, there are, of course, EU nationals in the UK who are anxious and fearful. And there are UK nationals in EU countries who are also anxious and fearful. And we need to make sure that we stand up for all of those people and negotiate with the European Union a settlement that works so that EU nationals who are living and are law-abiding in the UK can stay in the UK, just like UK nationals currently living and abiding by laws in the European Union should be able to stay in those European Union countries. So it's a two-way process. We have to make sure that we negotiate that. But you can't negotiate one side of that deal without the other side. Otherwise, you make those other people even more anxious and even more fearful.
Okay.
So we need to make sure that at a very early stage, that's something that's agreed between the UK and the EU. The EU has dragged its heels on this month in, month out. They could have allowed that assurance to be given. They haven't done so. We need to keep pressuring them to do it.
Right. OK. Thank you very much. Jonathan Arnott, North East UKIP MEP.